There are moments in your life when you become aware of something spacious underneath it, but you may not call it that. You may not call it anything. Something is happening to you. You feel it, don't you? A stirring deep within your bones, a shift beneath your skin. It's not just your imagination. Your body is trying to tell you something. It whispers in the quiet moments. It calls to you in the middle of the night. It speaks through sensations you've never noticed before. You are changing. No, you are awakening, and it's unlike anything you've ever known. The body speaks before the mind understands. Many have walked this path before you, yet their experiences were never quite the same. Some call it a spiritual awakening, others name it an energetic transformation, and still others recognize it as an alignment with the universe itself. Whatever name it carries, the truth remains the same. Your body knows before your mind does. This is where it begins, long before your thoughts can grasp what's happening. Your body begins to react. The change is subtle at first, like a gentle hum beneath the surface of your being. Then it grows, pulses, vibrates, demands to be noticed. Have you ever felt your heart pounding for no reason at all, as if it's trying to push something unseen through your veins? Have your hands ever tingled without explanation, as if they are reaching for something beyond this world? This is not coincidence. This is not random. It is a call to awaken, and you are not alone. For centuries, mystics, sages, and seekers from every part of the world have described this very moment. The Hindu yogis speak of Kundalini, a serpent-like energy coiling at the base of the spine, waiting to rise. The Buddhist monks talk about a fire that burns within, illuminating the soul. The Sufi poets whisper of an unseen hand guiding the body into divine ecstasy. Even in the ancient scriptures, there are stories of those who, without warning, were struck by a force they could neither name nor deny. And now it's happening to you, the shaking of the old, the birth of the new. As this awakening begins, the body often struggles. It clings to the familiar, fearing what it cannot yet comprehend. Some describe it as a sudden restlessness, a feeling of unease that lingers just beneath the skin. Others wake up in the middle of the night, their bodies trembling, their breath quickened, as if they've been touched by something unseen. Have you felt this? That odd sensation, like the earth beneath your feet is shifting, even when everything around you seems still. Your body is adjusting. It is shedding. It is preparing. Imagine an old tree, its bark cracked and weathered by time. When the season of growth arrives, the outer layers peel away, making room for the new. The process is not always gentle. It can feel raw, exposed, even painful, but it is necessary. This is where many turn back. This is where doubt creeps in. But you must not fear, because what comes next is the moment you've been waiting for. The fire in your veins, the light in your soul. There will be moments when it feels as if something is burning inside you. It is not the fire of destruction, but the fire of transformation. The ancient alchemists spoke of this, how metal must be placed in the flame to become something greater. You are no different. Your body may heat up unexpectedly, as if the sun itself has taken residence in your chest. You may find yourself craving foods you never wanted before, drawn to water as if it holds the answers, needing the touch of the earth beneath your feet. These urges are not random. They are guides. They are preparing you for something you cannot yet see, the pull towards the unknown. As this awakening deepens, something else begins to shift, your perception of the world itself. Colors may seem more vivid. Sounds may carry a strange, almost otherworldly resonance. You may feel as if time itself is no longer what it used to be. This is the moment when the veil begins to thin. Some have described seeing flashes of light in the corners of their vision. Others have felt presences around them, not frightening, but familiar. Some wake with words in their minds they do not remember learning, but knowledge that feels ancient and true. Does this sound familiar? Then you are further along than you think. And here you stand at the edge of something vast. You are no longer who you were yesterday, and yet you are not yet who you will become. This is the most important moment, the moment where you decide. Will you embrace what is happening, or will you turn away, pretend you never felt the pull, ignore the fire in your veins? The choice is always yours. But know this, once the awakening begins, it does not stop. It only deepens, because this is only the beginning. You feel it growing now, don't you? That shift, that force moving through you like an unseen current. It's no longer just a whisper. It's a roar, rising from the depths of your being, pushing you forward into something unknown. But this time, you are not afraid. Something inside you recognizes this transformation, even if your mind struggles to understand it. The body speaks a language older than words, a language written in vibrations, impulses of energy, in the silent movements of the soul. And now you must learn to listen. The body is the messenger. Everything your body is experiencing right now is a message. The tiredness that clings to you like a heavy fog, the strange tingling that comes and goes without reason, the sudden rushes of energy that make your heart race as if you've touched something divine. These are not random. Have you noticed how your appetite changes? How certain foods no longer satisfy you? How others seem to call to you as if they carry some hidden nourishment beyond the physical? Have you found yourself craving silence, retreating from noise, from crowds, from anything that disrupts the strange new rhythm pulsing through you? This is because your energy is shifting. Your body is no longer functioning on the same frequency it once did. The old ways of being no longer fit, like a snake shedding its skin, like a butterfly struggling free from its cocoon. You are emerging into something new, but there is still more to come. As this awakening deepens, something unexpected happens. The world you once knew, the routines, the conversations, the things that once felt so important, begins to feel distant. Have you noticed it? The way old habits no longer hold the same pull, the way small talk feels hollow, the way certain places now seem too loud, too heavy, too suffocating? This is because your vibration is rising, and as it rises, anything that does not match this new frequency begins to feel foreign. It's as if you're standing in a crowded room, yet you feel completely alone, not in a painful way, but in a way that makes you realize you no longer belong in the same way you once did. This is not loneliness. This is the calling of something greater. The mystics knew this feeling well. The Sufi poets called it the longing for the beloved. The Buddhist monks described it as the moment when illusion begins to fade. The ancient chants knew it as the first step toward walking between worlds. And now you are feeling it too, the sensations that cannot be ignored. Some of the changes are subtle, a shift in taste, a change in how you process emotions, and increased sensitivity to energy. But others are impossible to ignore. The sudden surges of heat that make your skin feel as if it's burning from the inside out, the waves of dizziness that come without warning as if the very ground beneath you is shifting, the pressure in your forehead, the tingling in your palms, the strange electric feeling running down your spine. These are the signs that your energy is activating. Many who walk this path before you have described it. The monks in Tibet who spend years meditating in the cold yet never feel the chill. The yogis who speak of the kundalini rising, a fire-like energy traveling up the spine. The prophets and seers who receive visions, not through their eyes, but through the tingling of their skin, the beating of their hearts, the resonance in their very bones. These sensations are real. They are proof that something ancient within you is awakening. The illusions begin to shatter. One of the most powerful changes that occur during awakening is not just within the body. It is within the mind itself. Have you started questioning things you once accepted without thought? Have you looked at the world and felt deep in your gut that something is not as it seems? This is because awakening is not just about energy. It is about truth. And the truth is, much of what you were taught was never meant to set you free. It was meant to keep you asleep. The great spiritual teachers of the past knew this. Jesus spoke in parables because he understood that not everyone was ready to hear the truth directly. The Buddha spoke of Maya, the illusion of reality, warning that most people live in a dream without ever realizing it. The Gnostics, the shamans, the mystics, they all spoke of the same thing. The world is not what it seems, and once you start to wake up, you can never go back. The body's final resistance. At this point, something strange may begin to happen. Even though you feel yourself awakening, even though you sense the pull of something greater, you may find yourself resisting. Why? Because change, even divine change, is terrifying to the body. It will try to hold on to the old ways. It will send doubt into your mind. It will make you question everything. It may even manifest as physical discomfort. Random aches, sudden fatigue, even old wounds resurfacing. This is not a sign to stop. This is a sign to keep going. Think of it like this. When a river begins to break through a dam, the pressure builds, the water pushes against the barriers, cracking the walls, forcing its way through. And just before the moment of release, there is a struggle, a violent shaking, a force that seems unbearable. But then the floodgates open and the water flows freely. That is where you are now. You are at a crossroads. You feel the change, you sense the shift. But the choice is still yours. You can ignore it. You can pretend it isn't happening, try to fit yourself back into the old world. Force yourself to keep playing the same role you always have, or you can embrace it. You can let the energy move through you, let your body surrender to the transformation, let your mind expand beyond what it once knew. Something inside you is changing faster now. The transformation is no longer just a whisper. It's becoming impossible to ignore. You feel it in your skin, in your bones, in the very air around you, and yet the world around you remains the same. Or does it? Have you noticed how certain people drain your energy more than before? Have you sensed how places that once felt familiar now seem foreign, distant, even heavy? Have you found yourself staring at the sky, at the trees, at the faces around you, feeling something unspoken yet undeniable shifting beneath the surface? This is what happens when the veil between who you were and who you are becoming begins to thin. Your body is trying to keep up. Your mind is struggling to understand. But your soul already knows. When the world feels different but you cannot explain why, there is a reason. So many ancient teachings speak of the world as an illusion. The Hindus call it Maya, the unseen force that keeps us believing in a false reality. The Gnostics believed that the material world was a distraction, a veil over the eyes of the soul. Even in Plato's allegory of the cave, he describes people trapped in shadows, unaware that beyond their limited vision, an entire world of light exists. And now you are seeing beyond the shadows. Have you noticed the way time feels different lately? Some days move too fast. Others seem to stretch endlessly, and moments of deep stillness appear out of nowhere, as if the fabric of time itself is slipping between your fingers. This is not just your imagination. Your perception of reality is expanding. Because when you awaken, you no longer move at the same speed as the world around you. You begin to move at the speed of your soul, and the body struggles to keep up. Your body is the last part of you to awaken. It is dense. It is slow. It has spent years being programmed by routine, by patterns, by old energy. And now, as your consciousness rises, your body must adjust. This is why you may be experiencing strange, almost unexplainable sensations. The pressure in your head, like something unseen is pressing against your forehead, your temples, the back of your skull. Some call this the activation of the third eye, the awakening of a part of you that has been dormant for lifetimes. The sudden ringing in your ears, a a frequency that comes and goes without warning. Some believe this is the tuning of your energy, your body adjusting to new vibrations, hearing beyond the limits of human perception. The unexpected exhaustion, even after a full night's sleep. Because awakening is not just a mental process. It is a full-body transformation. Your cells are shifting. Your DNA is activating. Your energy is being rewired. This takes a toll, and yet in the middle of all of this, there are also moments of unexplainable clarity. Have you felt them? That sudden rush of energy in your chest, like an unseen force pushing your heart open? The waves of euphoria that hit you out of nowhere, like you have touched something divine? The moments where everything makes sense, even if only for a few seconds. This is because your soul is remembering who you truly are, the unraveling of the old self. Awakening is not just about gaining something new. It is about losing everything that no longer serves you. And this is where things get difficult. Your old identity, the version of yourself that was built on expectations, on conditioning, on societal programming, will fight to stay alive. It will use fear. It will use doubt. It will make you question everything. It may even manifest as physical discomfort, random aches, sudden fatigue, even old wounds resurfacing. This is not a sign to stop. This is a sign to keep going. Think of it like this. When a river begins to break through a dam, the pressure builds, the water pushes against the barriers, cracking the walls, forcing its way through. And just before the moment of release, there is a struggle, a violent shaking, a force that seems unbearable. But then the floodgates open and the water flows freely. You are in that cocoon now, and soon you will emerge. When people no longer recognize you, one of the strangest parts of an awakening is realizing that the people around you no longer see you the same way. Some may be drawn to you, sensing that something about you has changed even if they cannot explain what. Others may pull away as if your energy no longer matches theirs. This is natural because as you rise, you will no longer fit in places that require you to shrink. Some relationships will end. Some friendships will fade. Some situations will fall apart without warning. Do not chase them. Do not mourn the loss of what was, because what is leaving your life now is only making space for what is meant to come next. In the middle of all this change, something incredible happens. One morning, you wake up, and the world looks different. The colors seem brighter. The air feels lighter. You breathe in, and for the first time, it feels like real breath. You are no longer fighting the change. You are flowing with it. And this is where the real magic begins. Because you are no longer on the path. You are the path. Something has shifted. You can feel it. The heaviness is still there, but it's different now. It no longer feels like a burden. It feels like something breaking open inside you, like a seed that has cracked apart. Not because it is dying, but because it is finally beginning to grow. The moment of no return. There comes a moment in every awakening when you realize you cannot go back. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot unknow what you now know. The old world, the world you once lived in, feels smaller now, almost too small for the being you are becoming. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. Activities that once filled your time now feel meaningless. The people you used to relate to now seem like strangers. At first, this can be terrifying. It may feel like you are losing everything, like the ground beneath you is cracking, like you are walking through a fog with no clear path forward. But this is what rebirth feels like. You are not lost. You're becoming someone new, and your body is feeling every part of it. You may have noticed that your body is reacting differently to things that never used to bother you. Foods that once gave you comfort now feel heavy in your stomach. Loud noises, bright lights, and crowded places feel more overwhelming than ever before. You may find yourself craving silence, solitude, and nature more than usual. This is not random. Your body is adjusting to a new frequency. And just like an old radio that is suddenly tuning into a higher station, your system is learning how to function on a different level. And this comes with strange sensations. The pressure in your head, the randomness of heat in your body, the chills that run down your spine when you hear truth, even when no one else seems to notice, the feeling that your heart is expanding, as if your chest cannot contain the energy inside it anymore. These are not just feelings. These are activations. Your energy field is changing. Your nervous system is rewiring itself. Your DNA is responding. Yes, DNA. Many ancient teachings speak of something hidden inside us, something waiting to be unlocked. Modern science is beginning to catch up, recognizing that much of our DNA is still a mystery, coded information we have yet to understand. But spiritual traditions have always known. The ancient Egyptians believed in the Ka, an energy body that mirrors the physical body but operates on a higher plane. The Vedas speak of the subtle body, the invisible layers of energy that hold our true power. Even in the Bible, it is said we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. Could it be that we are designed for transformation, that awakening is not something we achieve but something we are wired to experience? And if so, what happens when the process goes even deeper? One of the most profound changes that occur during awakening is the sharpening of your senses, not just the 5 senses you were taught about in school. You start feeling energy in a way that is impossible to ignore. You walk into a room and instantly sense the mood, the unspoken tension, the hidden emotions hanging in the air. You meet someone and feel everything behind their words. Whether they are being genuine, whether they are holding back, whether they are lost in their own illusions. It can be overwhelming at first, but it is not a curse. It is a gift, because as your perception expands, so does your ability to create. Have you noticed that your thoughts are manifesting faster? That your intentions, whether spoken or unspoken, seem to be shaping reality in a way that feels almost instantaneous? This is because the barrier between thought and creation is dissolving. In the past, you might have thought of something and waited weeks, months, or years for it to come into your life. Now it is happening in days, sometimes hours. The universe is no longer responding to your words. It is responding to your energy, and your energy is becoming stronger. The discomfort of expanding beyond your old self. With great power comes great responsibility and great discomfort, because as you grow, everything in your life that is not aligned with your higher path will start to fall away. Some relationships will feel strained. Some friendships will fade without explanation. You may even lose interest in things that once defined your identity. This is the part of awakening no one prepares you for. The shedding, the letting go, the realization that you are outgrowing who you used to be. It is painful, but it is necessary, because just like a snake cannot keep its old skin, just like a butterfly cannot return to being a caterpillar, you cannot return to the old version of yourself. And why would you want to? The new world that is opening up to you is far more vibrant, more powerful, more alive than anything you have ever known. You are no longer the same. You can feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the way you carry yourself through the world. The things that once seemed important no longer hold power over you. The illusions that once controlled your life are now crumbling before your eyes. But with this new awareness comes something even more powerful. The universe is speaking to you, and for the first time, you are listening. When reality becomes a mirror, have you noticed how certain patterns keep repeating in your life? The same kinds of people appearing, the same lessons showing up in different forms, the same emotions rising within you no matter how much you try to move past them. This is not coincidence. This is the universe showing you a reflection of yourself. Ancient wisdom has always spoken of this. The Hermetic principle of as above, so below. As within, so without is the idea that the external world is merely a projection of your internal state, and now you are starting to see it. And that toxic friendship is revealing something inside of you that still needs healing. That frustrating situation is pushing you to let go of control and trust the flow of life. That person who suddenly walked into your life, lighting a fire in your soul. They are activating something dormant within you, something waiting to be awakened. Because once you step onto this path, life no longer happens to you. It happens through you. And every single thing, every person, every experience, every challenge is a message. You check the time, 11:11, then 3:33, then 5:55, and you think of an old friend, and minutes later they call you. You hear a word, a phrase, a song lyric, then suddenly it repeats everywhere you go. At first, you might brush it off as coincidence, but deep down, you know better. These are not random events. These are signs. This is known as the language of the universe, a way for the unseen to communicate with you in a form you can understand. Some call it angel numbers, some call it divine alignment, some call it a glitch in the matrix. But the truth is simple. Reality is responding to your new level of awareness. It has always been doing this, but now you're awake enough to notice it. And once you begin to notice, the floodgates open. When your intuition becomes your guiding force, there was a time when you doubted yourself, when you second-guessed every decision, when you looked to others for validation, when you ignored the small voice inside you in favor of logic, reason, and external advice. But something has changed now. You feel things before they happen. You sense people's energy before they speak. You know without knowing how you know, and you are beginning to trust it. This is your intuition awakening, and as it grows stronger, you will realize that every answer you have ever needed has always been within you. The ancient texts call this Wu Wei, effortless action, the ability to move through life in perfect harmony with its natural flow. The more you trust your intuition, the more life aligns effortlessly. Decisions become clearer. Opportunities arise at the perfect moment. You stop chasing, forcing, and struggling because you realize that when you are in alignment, everything comes to you effortlessly. And when you resist, that's when things become difficult. When your old self tries to pull you back, make no mistake, awakening is not a straight path. There will be moments when your old self tries to pull you back into comfort, into routine, into the safety of what is familiar. You will question yourself. You will feel exhausted, unmotivated, and disconnected at times. This is part of the process because every time you break through to a new level of consciousness, your old self fights to survive. It will use fear. It will use doubt. It will make you wonder if you are making it all up, if it was all just a phase, if you should just go back to the way things used to be. But you cannot go back because you are no longer the same person. The version of you that once accepted less, that once lived in fear, that once stayed small, that version is dying. And the new you, the you that is powerful, aligned, limitless, that version is being born. The final test before transformation, before a great shift, there is always a final test. It may come in the form of a challenge, a moment that asks you to choose between your old life and your new one. It may come in the form of loss, a relationship ending, a job falling apart, a door closing that you once thought would stay open forever. Or it may come in the form of one simple choice. Will you step into your power, or will you shrink back into what is comfortable? Because this is the moment when everything changes, the moment when you either step forward into the unknown or stay trapped in a life that no longer fits you. And the truth? Your soul already knows what to do. All you have to do is listen. Because this journey is not just about awakening. It is about becoming. Do you feel it? The vibrations in your body, the moments of overwhelming peace even in chaos, the sense that something inside you has clicked into place? Your energy is now operating at a different frequency. At this level, everything is faster. Manifestations happen effortlessly. You think of something and it begins to appear in your life. The universe responds to your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, because now you are no longer separate from it. You are the universe. This understanding is what the great spiritual masters have always spoken about. The Taoists called it oneness with the Tao. The yogis called it self-realization. The mystics called it divine union. It is the moment when you stop searching for something outside of yourself because you finally understand that everything you seek is already within you. And now that you are here, a new path is opening, stepping into your power. The awakened mind sees beyond illusion. The awakened heart feels beyond limitation. The awakened soul creates instead of reacts. And that is your next step. You are no longer at the mercy of life. You are no longer a passive observer waiting for things to happen to you. Now you understand. You are the creator. Your thoughts shape reality. Your emotions guide your experience. Your energy determines what you attract. This is not wishful thinking. This is the foundation of all spiritual truths. Every sacred text, every ancient philosophy, every enlightened teacher has pointed to this one thing. You are far more powerful than you have ever been told, and now you are ready to embrace that power. Now that you have awakened, the world looks different. You see through the distractions, the noise, the illusions that once held you captive. You recognize what is real and what is simply a construct of the old world. You understand that the suffering, the limitations, the struggle were never meant to be your true reality. You were meant for more, and now you can finally claim it. The journey does not end here. Awakening is not a single moment. It is a lifelong process, an ever-expanding journey into deeper awareness, greater understanding, and limitless creation. But something has changed. You are no longer asleep. You are no longer lost. You are awake, and now it is time to live like it.